What is good, YouTube? I appreciate those of y'all tuning in right now. Now, I understand that the 2025 class for the NFL draft class has officially wrapped up and it's over. But listen, we're still going to be analyzing some prospects here. We'll even analyze a little bit of some 2026 prospects. But this gives me a chance to, from prior to the draft, to analyze some players that I just necessarily couldn't get the chance to. So today we are analyzing new wide receiver for the Houston Texans, Jayden Higgins. He's one of my favorite receivers in this class, simply for just his route running reasons and then what he provides. Like he's a taller wide receiver and his route running is phenomenal. Like there's no wasted steps in this instance. So he's going to be running a hitch. Watch the snap down right there, 45-yard line, and look at how low he gets. He's in a sitting chair. Remember, there's some receivers who are like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", anywhere from that high range that don't get that low. And watch, he doesn't roll it either. So 45, let's see where he finishes at. 47. Only 2 yards. And then look at how much space he's able to create with from the defensive back. Now, the defensive back was in what I like to call a bail. Sometimes you see that in cover three, but it's such good separation. And then the hands, perfect. This next route is something you see a lot of veteran and elite wide receivers do in the NFL. So if you can do it at the college level, perfect. He's to the bottom of the screen right here. He's going to be running a slant. Defensive back is inside leverage. That immediately, for some receivers, would signal caution and they'd be uncomfortable with it. He isn't. He's going to use is a diamond release. A diamond release is three hard steps to the outside. You want to make them flip their hips, thinking you're going north. Just watch how he works it right. It is textbook to that level. Hard jab, diamond release. I mean, receivers that can perfect diamond releases like this, they have a pretty good chance. What I really love about Higgins' craft in route running is he uses a lot of, I guess, nuances or nuanced moves that I didn't see a lot from some receivers in this draft class. So he's going to be running a nine route. Nine route also means just a go route, which is just straight. He has inside leverage from the defensive back, so he's perfect leverage. But I like how he works it here. Like he just, even though that leverage is there, he necessarily doesn't like attack to the outside and just run straight. He, if I can play it, he attacks to their leverage, so he's stemming to where they are, and then rocker step right there. I'll replay it back because I know it's at a quick speed. Right there. A rocker step, kind of think of it as like if you watch basketball and you see them do that crossover with their left foot, right foot, or they could even start with their right foot, left foot. That's exactly what it is. That's what he uses. And then, I mean, defensive back stumbles. Like, he has so much separation. If it was a better throw, he's probably in the end zone. His route running is just so good. I mean, it's at a perfect level. Like, I watch his route running and then I see, all right, he's taken by the Texans. He's a very good route runner. You look at what Nico Collins can do for them. Nico Collins can run routes too. He does it all around. Like this is just a match made in heaven. If you play fantasy football, be sure to draft Jayden Higgins. So he's running a corner route, defensive corner route. We want outside leverage. Defensive back is playing that hard outside leverage. Like he's almost out the Higgins frame here. But I love the way he works it in his stem. He's gonna use a dive release, which is just a dive release as you work straight upfield. And then I love his footwork. He closes the space then when he meets the defensive back, he's using his physicality and his arm length. Oh, work vertical, then snap it off quick, no wasted movement. Look at that separation. Give the quarterback some where to throw the ball. Let's watch it again because it's just that good. So let's watch it full without any pauses. Dive release, hands, snap. It's just perfect. Now, most receivers, they have a set plan at the line of scrimmage. Like you see the defensive back lineup, and then you know your route, so you have a set plan of how you're going to run your route. I think sometimes he just reacts off of it, and like it doesn't matter where his route breaking point is to release inside or outside, and where the defensive back's leverage is. He just perfects it to his best way possible. I'm gonna let it play full first, okay? So I'll let it play and develop first. Slot fade, hesitation release. I mean, not a whole lot of separation, right? It's more of a back shoulder throw, but let me just play it fully. I want to go back to it because you have this. I mean, it's hard to tell from this angle because it's such a crunched view, but you have this safety over top, and he's running a slot fade, and we knew the defensive back was in inside leverage. The quarterback, I mean, being in the slot, it's very hard for the quarterback. Like, you want to take your path to the numbers and to the sideline, which he does here. But if the quarterback is throwing it with like let's say this is the quarterback right here, even though it's the right tackle, he throws it with, if you can see with the mouse, this kind of trajectory, that's just too much time for the defensive back to react. And he can make a play on that ball. But if he throws it back shoulder, it's good enough. And that's what we need. So that's what he does it. He works to the outside. It's a back shoulder throw. Like some routes are going to require not a whole lot of separation and just back shoulder throw. That's what he does. In this play, he's on another nine route, and typically, I mean, on a nine route, I mean, if the defensive back's playing outside leverage, it's so hard for us to release inside, especially if you have this safety, kind of cheating towards his side. So I mean, he's just got to have to rely on his physicality and speed. So that's what outside leverage from the defensive back gives a little hesitation release, and then finally goes. Now you're gonna have to stack, and what I mean by stack is like think of it as like imagine you're driving right, okay, and there's the car in front of you, or you're next to that car, and then you get ahead of them. That's basically what it is. Like if we were to flip reverse roles here and say that the defensive back was the wide receiver and Higgins was the defensive back, this defensive back is stacking. That's what I mean by that. Higgins has to get over the top, and I love the hand fighting. You see it right there with his left hand, still fighting. Perfect push, perfect area to the shoulder so you can create that space. It's a tough catch. So really not a whole lot of separation, but it's good to know he can make tough catches with his size. So there's Higgins right there. I love his running style. And there are some that don't mention this, but running style when it pertains to route running is I would say is pretty important because defensive backs, they look for like your hips, where your hips, shoulders, eyes, head, footwork really are leaning towards. And he just doesn't give any indicators at all. And then I just love his footwork. So there he is. He creeps up onto the defensive back's toes. I mean, you don't want to creep too close. If you get too close, like any further than he is here, you're just going to run into contact with the defensive back. But he does it perfectly right there. Gets exactly what he needs to. I like the choice of late hands because it's on him in a hurry. It's on him in a hurry. The defensive back, they're able to get hands onto his arms. So late hands right there. It's on him in a hurry, right where the pass needs to be. He's very polished as a route runner. And they have, like I say, have a high hit rate. I have to imagine CJ Stroud. Casario was like, "Hey CJ, we're thinking about drafting a wide receiver. Which one do you want to take?" CJ Stroud watches the film and he sees Jayden Higgins film and he's like, "Yep, I want him as my wide receiver. I want him and Nico on my team." Again, working leverage and just reacting off of it. And if they're in the not ideal leverage, it really doesn't bother him. So in route, defensive back, inside leverage. I love the release here too. Watch it. Split release gives them a jab to the outside. It gets them to open up their hips, which you can see the defensive back is starting to do. Open up the hips. And then I love you stay tight to the defensive back right here. You don't get too wide because if you get too wide, I mean, Arizona State is playing man coverage, so it really doesn't matter here. But if they were playing zone, let's say this guy right here, if you can see with the mouse, this defender, were to just drop off, it's just not ideal spacing, but I love how he goes hip to hip and then just the suddenness within his breaks and the no wasted movement to follow that line right there. Perfect. This route was pretty interesting. I mean, he's running a slot fade. Usually, It's just the way he turns or positions himself is unusual. Like typically, and I'll play it. Typically, with slot fades, you don't see them turn that way. Like you don't see them turn their head that way, unless this is not a slot fade. I could be completely wrong, and it could be like a corner route from him. But it kind of does look like it is a slot fade. But to turn, position yourself while the ball's still in the air, that just speaks to the concentration in ball tracking, right? So we'll watch it again. All right. So we've known and seen that he's obviously a very elite route runner and he wins versus zone, whether that's in press, off, or bail coverage. Now let's see him work versus zone. So he's got a corner route. I mean, you see a lot of teams do this, right? You'll have a flat route right here. Sometimes if there was a receiver to the bottom right here, maybe like a hitch, kind of like a high low where you read this corner, ideal for cover two. And so Higgins' objective is on this corner route not to press it too close to the safety or too close to the defensive back. If you look at these two defenders right here, okay, and I'll do it again because I know the mouse is pretty small, so you may not see these two. You want to split the difference, which would be right in here or somewhere right in here. And you don't want to run the full way through. You want to stop. You want to have a certain stop point or location, splits the difference perfectly, and then stop. Because the quarterback doesn't want to lead that throw to this flat defender here. He's just going to put it in a spot. Body language is very key for a wide receiver. I mean, you have to put like some kind of bait for the defensive back to think it's one thing, and then you with your suddenness, you suddenly break inside, you break outside, right? So right now, I want you to tell me when he's running his route, not when he breaks it off, but when he's getting to that point, what type of route you think it is. Okay, let me know in the comments. This is just absolutely filthy from Higgins. I mean, it's good to know that he's a taller wide receiver and he's got that speed, and they'd like to use him as a deep threat in two facets. Two facets. The first one being that he's got with his speed. The second one being that just throw it up there and let him use his size. But I love this right here. Now I know I want to say this is Baylor. I don't know the opponent, and of course you can say, oh well, you know, this is Baylor or this is such and such school. There's not that good competition. Like for me, if you can just do this stuff and you can understand the technique, you're perfectly fine. But watch him. And then how he's able to stack. Good move. Keep it tight. Work the defensive backs leverage. And then right here. Don't work. You want to be like bumper to bumper, right? You don't want them to like go over the top or go to your side, really try to push you inside. You just want to like box them out, box them out, box them out, and make. I mean, I don't think I can have a hard time seeing if that was a catch because it's just so blurry. But I mean, he can run routes. Last clip of this video because if I were to include so many others that I have listed, like we'd be here for a long time. And I mean, you can tell he has like the full arsenal or route tree. So watch him here. I mean, it looks like so many different things. It looks like go, looks like stutter go. He even uses the peek back move. I mean, that gets the defensive back to think that the ball's coming out early, and then the suddenness within his routes to have the defensive back stumble like that. It's like really special. I'll play it without any pauses here. Keep in mind the leverage too. I think Jayden Higgins being on the Texans like has the chance to be a star in the making, and with his technique, his route running, IQ and of zone, and just basically everything we saw in this film with him knowing where to stop and knowing where to be in zone, how to stack the defensive back, how to set the defensive back up, reacting off of what the defensive back is giving you. like he's a special and tremendous football player. I think the combination of he, Tank Dell pending his injury, Nico Collins with CJ Stroud wasn't as great a year two. Hopefully it'll be better. Like that can be something very special. That can be a really special trio as well. And I think in terms of player comparison, like he reminds me of a player who the Texans drafted in I want to say 2023, who also went to the same college as Higgins. He reminds me a lot of Xavier Hutchinson, but I also think there are like noticeable similarities between his play style and Nico Collins. So the Texans are a tremendous fit for him. If you play fantasy football, I would definitely recommend drafting Jayden Higgins.